Today's topic is the Bubble Man theme from Mega Man 2, so let's jump right into it. Most Mega Man 2 tracks draw from progressive rock and metal, often mimicking electric guitar textures. However, composer Takashi Tateishi, who came from a rock background himself, felt that the underwater world should be a quiet place. This led him to compose a theme that had more in common with flowing piano arpeggios than palm-muted guitar chords. Capcom insisted that all of the stage themes have some element of rhythmic excitement, so Tateishi paired these lush, ambient chords with a driving Motorik beat. The result? An unexpectedly hypnotic hybrid, like Lonnie Liston Smith jamming with Can on the ocean floor. At the heart of this sonic magic are inverted sixth chords, something rare in Mega Man 2's musical landscape. At first glance, the intro arpeggios might seem like a simple alternation between E-flat and D minor with some passing non-chord tones. But listen carefully. I think we actually have a C minor chord with an added flat 6 over E-flat, and a B-flat chord with an added 6 over D. Both chords cleverly flipped into first inversion with their thirds in the bass. Initially, I interpreted these chords as A-flat major 7 and G minor 7 in second inversion. But the melody and subsequent dominant chords strongly imply a C minor center, leading me to settle on C minor as the key. This ambiguity creates openness, denying listeners a clear harmonic foundation and contributing to the dreamy, floating sensation the theme achieves so beautifully. Let's take a look at the main two chords. So we start with C minor. We're going to go root, 5th, 3rd, 5th. And then let's add B major with the same voicing. Root, 3rd, 5th. Let's hear them in rhythm. Okay, let's add in the 6th, so that's going to be this A-flat, and the G natural for the B-flat major. So now that's going to be... Okay, we have a little bit more of that floating, dreamy color we're looking for. Let's take them to the final version and invert them. So now we have C minor, 3rd, flat 6, root, 3rd, 5th. And then we have B flat, 3rd, 6, root, 3rd, 5th. And let's hear those in rhythm. Better. So let's compare. So we started out with just root position, major, minor. And we're going to end with in my opinion, much better for Bubble Man in that floating, jazzy, dreamy feel. So, good call. Bubble Man's theme kicks off with a 4-bar intro, featuring a short, melancholy melody that we never hear again after bar 8. After 3 moody bars, bright, horn-like accents burst through, setting the tone for the rest of the piece and foreshadowing the dynamic contrasts ahead. The A section is built around an even more minimal melody with 2 notes over each chord change in the arpeggio loop. This keeps the harmony dynamic without cluttering the texture. The emphasis on C in the melody reinforces C minor as the tonal center, especially when the whole track eventually loops around from a G7 chord at the end of the last section. At the end of the A section, we get our first hint of dominant function with B naturals and a 7 diminished chord, B diminished over D, subtly pulling us towards a stronger resolution. Let's take a look at the A melody. So we start out on our tonic over C minor, then we move up to that B flat, back down to C minor, back up to B flat, but then we introduce a B natural because of the implied B diminished. Gives it a little bit of dominant flavor. So over the chords we have and then we go B diminished, B D F, and then that resolves back to our 1. So one last time, B diminished, and then inverted 1. The B section takes the same harmonic foundation, but introduces a more expansive climbing melody, building towards a clear target note that it doesn't reach until the last climactic moment. Part of the drama comes from more borrowed B naturals, a raised scale degree 7, or the leading tone, introduced into the last couple bars of the melody. Combined with the F naturals in the bass line, this gives us the sound of an implied major dominant chord for the first time, G dominant 7 over D, and ratchets up the intensity while launching the theme into a new harmonic pattern at the beginning of the C section. The final section is where things take a turn. After 6 cycles of the hypnotic 2-chord loop, we finally hit a C minor triad in root position, our first true harmonic resolution. This section follows a call and response pattern. The first phrase moves in parallel thirds, reinforcing each chord change with thirds in the melody. The second phrase echoes the intro melody's softer, mellow character. What's interesting here is the contrast. Instead of trying to top the intensity of section B, this section pulls back to create an overall arc of understated A melody, followed by soaring B melody, then finally settling into the calm, reflective C melody. The chord progression also accelerates here, shifting from 1 chord every 2 bars to 2 chords per bar. Our chords in bars 1 and 2 are C minor, B flat, and A flat, or minor 1, flat 7, and flat 6, a classic rock staple that's familiar from hits like Don't Fear the Reaper and All Along the Watchtower. It's also the only time that Tateishi explicitly uses block triads, offering a crystal clear harmonic moment before plunging back into complex texture. Bars 3 and 4 of section C revisit a variation of the main theme's chords, compressed and intensified. The bass suddenly plays repeated 8th notes as 16th note arpeggios race through A-flat major into G major over B, dramatically raising intensity through sheer note density. The unusual augmented second interval between A flat and B natural in the bass adds another subtle layer of drama before returning to C minor for the second half of the sequence. In the second half, bar 8 has the root, G, in the bass instead, as the melody outlines an ascending G7 chord to create the final pullback to loop everything back to the beginning of the A section. In summary, Tateishi's composition is a masterclass in how to use inverted chords for a floating, unresolved feel, flowing arpeggios instead of rigid block chords, harmonic ambiguity to create endless motion, and contrasting melodies that guide the emotional arc. The result is a piece that's both propulsive and ambient, a soundtrack for an underwater journey that feels like it has no beginning and no end, just an everlasting flow. That was my deep dive into the Bubbleman theme. I hope y'all enjoyed it because it really is one of my favorite pieces of music. If you did enjoy this video and you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. And until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of someone else, and have a good day.